It's Tuesday, the 15th of August, and we are on the FTSE 100. Just entered into a long position after, actually already got the candle here, 810, you can see the little green arrow here. Entered into a long position after this pin bar right here. Now the FTSE 100 has been very bearish, certainly last week. The market basically fell off a cliff. Now, coming into this week, we were still bearish. We were basically looking for retracements to then sell into. Now, this morning, the market has sat at this level early morning, and then it has pulled back, coming into the 8 a.m. open. We have then bounced between these two zones once. We have came down. We have then came down again. And what have we done? We have, let me just get rid of this arrow, shown support here, here, and here. Now, the third time we showed support, we got the pin bar. The pin bar also closed just up above. Let me just mark this in. This previous swing right here. So looking at the market, it gave me the confidence that potentially after this pin bar, we would see at least a revisit of previous highs. So I was happy to get into that long position. And I'm looking to take the market up toward these previous highs, potentially up into R1 at around about 7385 and this whole zone here. Now, although we are bearish on this market, the overall view is bearish after such a strong move down last week. We're looking for the retracement. There's no real way to know exactly where retracement will end. What we do instead is we find key levels of resistance, and then we start to watch price action when it reaches those levels for the clues. Now, if the market is giving indications of bullish support at levels, I'm still happy to take those long positions. Just being a little bit careful. I need to have quite a few confluences to get into the trade. And even still, when you get into a trade with lots of confluences, it doesn't necessarily mean the trade is going to win. It's trading as a game of probabilities. But there's enough reasons here for me to get into this long position. Looking to take up into these levels at least, and really into this zone up above. Now, I am being slightly more cautious. I'm actually on slightly reduced stakes this week. And the reason for that is last week I closed the week with a down week. Basically, going into the end of the week, I suffered a couple of losses, which took me down into negative for the week. When I do that, it tends to be when I end the week. So if I have losses on a Friday, coming into the next week, I'm just a little bit more cautious because I know through experience that that's when my psychology, it's when my mind basically suffers the most. If I have bad days going into the weekend, it can carry through the weekend into the next week. So I just be a little bit more cautious as I'm starting to trade once again. It's important, having down days, having down weeks. You don't hear it talked about enough, really. It's all part of trading. It's impossible to be a trader and not suffer from losses and not have down weeks. Now, what you tend to see is other traders. In fact, I don't really even talk about it too much. I don't like to talk about it too much, but what you tend to see is other traders, all they're posting is about their winners. All they're posting are things like, I call them like Instagram traders. So they just want to post about the car they're driving. They want to post about the watch they're wearing. They want to post about stacks of money. And it's, frankly, I don't tend to get into it too much, but frankly, they're basically bullshit artists. They're selling a dream. That's all they're doing. They're selling a dream, and what they're doing is they're advertising that dream. It's not realistic. There's no point in getting into trading looking at that crap and thinking that's how it's going to be. Trading is a lot of hard work. It actually really annoys me because when you see things like that, it is giving the impression that trading is this simple cash cow. it's probably a cash cow for them because by using those methods, I'm sure they attract in lots of, unfortunately, gullible people. But it's not like that. Trading is a hell of a lot of hard work, and it really pisses me off when I see things like that. Um, because I see things like traders posting up, join my course and you can have financial freedom in 3 months, or I turned this much money into like this many millions by following my system in only a couple of years. It's such a lot of crap, and it annoys me because not only for me, but people that come to me and people that are learning to trade, I know the difficulty that they go through, that I still go through, the emotional roller coaster that we have to go through, the discipline that we have to show, the things in our own psychology we have to face and then work to correct. All these things you have to work through. Trading is not easy, and it's not a cash cow. You can make really good money at trading. I'm not trying to disregard that. I make good money as being a trader, but you have to first build to that level. And then even when you get to that level, there's not going to be any switch that flicks and then suddenly you trade and you're going to be this Instagram person, buying new Rolexes every week, getting your Maserati, getting your Lamborghini, whatever it is. It's still a lot of hard work. You've just learned to cope with it and to deal with the hard times and the drawdowns. Like last week, I had a down week. It's absolutely normal, but it does not make it easy. It's you've worked an entire week and you've lost money. It's really really difficult to emotionally deal with. But that is part of trading. So anyway, a little bit of a ramble, just because sometimes, especially when I go on to Twitter, I don't even know why I'm on Twitter. It is an absolute haven of imbecile traders, full of these idiots that I'm talking about. Um, just sometimes you go on there, you scroll down, and you see all this crap, and it annoys you. And I've got a platform here where I can at least try and help people see through it. A lot of people already see through it, but unfortunately, there is a huge portion who do not, and they're the ones, sadly, that go in with inheritances, even pensions, and they end up losing lots of money. The amount of emails I get from people who they've rinsed their entire pension or their inheritance that they've been given by their parents, which is not a small sum of money. They've completely blown it, and it's left them in such a horrible position. And as bad as it sounds, it's these people's fault for advertising this false dream and stuff, but it's also the people who've lost the money. You have to take responsibility. You're the one clicking the order. You're the one putting your money on the line. It's quite easy to find out that trading has a 90% failure rate, or around about there. It might be slightly lower. It might be around about 80% among retail traders, but it's a high failure rate. You have to be willing to treat this as almost like a degree, a university degree. It's going to take you years, and you can get there. It's a fantastic. I don't want to just sound negative. It's a fantastic industry to be in. I mean, I can trade from pretty much anywhere I want. Some days, not always at all, but some days you can finish literally in a few minutes, and you've made your money, and that's it, and you've got the rest of the day to do what you want. And I just usually take the dog out or something like that. And there's not a lot of other careers that will let you do that. So that's my input anyway for a Tuesday morning. That's what I'm looking for. We are actually showing some resistance here. We're holding at these levels. Which is not really what I wanted to see. I am still looking for that break up toward the previous highs into this zone up above. We'll see how we get on. Shock, horror, there is the possibility the market will come down and stop me out. That's the reality of trading. So let's see how we get on with this one. Okay, so the market is continuing to make relatively bearish movements. 8:35, we had a strong bearish candle. Then 8:45, we came all the way down to this 58 level. We did find a little bit of support, but still, we are still closing bearish. Even the 8:40 candle, which tried to push higher, it is failing below this MA200 now. So looking at the market, the trade or the reasonings for the trade are starting to weaken for me at least, but there are no clear signals to get me out of this trade. So I'm holding on to the trade, and we will still look to see if we can get this move up into at least this 376 area, and we'll see how we get on. Okay guys, so the market came down and took me out at my stop level. So the market basically, it gave me the signs for the bullish entry. It then rolled over. This one showed a little bit of support, and then we started holding underneath this daily support and resistance level. When we did this, as I mentioned, the market was looking relatively bearish. We then popped down and took me out of the trade. Now, as I have mentioned already, losing trades are all part of trading. And it's the most difficult thing that you're going to have to learn to deal with. All it means is that you just mark down your result, and then you move on to the next setup. The most important thing is that you stick to your rules. You don't allow a loss to cause you to start trading emotionally, cause you to start taking riskier trades, increasing your risk. As I've mentioned this week, my risk was already lowered because I suffered a down week last week, and I know that if I do that going into the end of the week, I can tend to make, not mistakes, but it can tend to make me, when I'm in a trade especially, look to, for example, hold the profit a little bit longer than I normally would. Okay, so that's pretty much everything for today. We had I guess I gave another rant on the video. And then we had the trade which got stopped out. So for this week now, again, I am back to being slightly down. I had a winning trade yesterday, had a loss today. It's taken me to being slightly negative once again. So now I just go back to playing the trading waiting game, waiting for that next setup. Because it's all part of trading, and it's the most important thing you need to learn how to cope with. What the market will sometimes do is exactly what it's just done, stop you out, and then make the move, which actually looks like it might be about to do. That would be a typical trader experience, is what I would call it. All things you have to learn to deal with as a trader. So now for the rest of the day, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go back to waiting for a setup. After I've had a loss, I'll take another trade on the day. Maximum usually is 2 trades per day, so we'll see if we get a setup. Okay guys, so back on the FTSE 100. Now the first thing to go over is, what did I say the market very often does? When you're going through one of those, not a rough patch, but when you're having a phase where things just are not working out in your favor, over and over again. So I mentioned I had the down week last week. Coming into the end of the week, I had a couple of losses which left me down. And then coming into today, well, I had a winning trade yesterday, and then this trade here popped up, came back down and knocked me out for a loss. The market then did exactly what I was looking for. It actually rallied a lot stronger, if I'm being honest. I didn't expect it to make this very, very strong pin up right here. But basically, from down, let's even say from the entry, it rallied, almost 50 points right after stopping me out. This is part of trading. And then when the market came up into these levels, I was looking for potential shorting opportunities. It's a good level of resistance until we break out from this level to then find support for potential continuation. I was happy to look at it as resistance. It is key levels on the FTSE. Happy to look for some sort of a pullback, at least down into the 7385 and potentially all the way back down towards just where the MA200 is sitting, really, at 7375. I am watching this trade, how it is reacting. We are just going through the lunch hour. Volatility is relatively low at the minute. But as the market was coming up, what is very easy to do is get frustrated and start looking everywhere. Start looking here for a short, comes up a little bit, then you get another potential signal sitting here for a short, and you can get not only frustrated, but you can get that fear of missing out, and you end up jumping into imperfect trades, trying to make that money back. Now, it doesn't mean that this trade is going to work in my favor. However, I waited for the setup rather than forcing into a trade. And that's really important, because when you force into a trade, if it then loses, you start to blame yourself. And when you start to blame yourself, it's a lot easier to then start making mistakes, because the mistake was your own. You've slipped up, you've lost your discipline, you've stopped following your rules. So you get really annoyed. That's when things happen, like you try desperately to make the money back. It's important that you just hold off. All you need to do is look at the charts. Historically, look at the charts from all the times you've been trading and look at all the potential setups that have been there. No matter what happens, another one is going to come along. And you can, and if you stick to your trading plan and if you follow your rules, you can and you will make back the losses you've made, and you will move back into profit. Okay, so I just wanted to add that to the video. It's quite important. I've no idea how this trade is going to go, but what I will do is I will add it just as I'm coming out of the trade, however it is, if it's a loss or if it starts to move down. I'll just quickly turn the video back on, add a couple of seconds to the end of the video. Okay, I've just closed partial profits, closed out 75% of this trade as the market popped down into the 7381 level. Really, I'm just looking for the market. If we come down toward anywhere toward this MA200 now, I will just close the remainder of the position. So we pressed up, we rejected once, and then after the entry, the market did push up higher, and we created that double top, broke below that central pivot, and that has given the market that bearish run that I was looking for. Now, with the trade, it's important to go over, when you are learning to trade especially, it can be, or it is, an emotional roller coaster. Every day you finish trading, you finish up, you're really pleased with yourself, you're really happy, you walk around as if you're walking on clouds, and then if you have a down day, you feel really terrible, and you wonder how you're going to make your money back, and you wonder if you're ever going to make it as a trader. But the more you trade, and certainly if you've been trading for a long time and you are either trading full-time or looking to trade full-time, you need to move away from that. Otherwise you're going to basically have an absolutely crazy life. I don't know how else to explain it. You're going to have a life of really high highs, really low lows, and everyone around you is going to be wondering what in the hell is going on. So for me today, after taking this loss, now the market then did the rally that I was looking for, and I missed out on that position. However, what was more important for me was that I didn't jump into any imperfect positions, because as I've mentioned with those emotions with trading, the more you trade, and as you start to trade full time, you want to kind of dial that out. You just want to be trading your system. And, well, I'll give you an example. So tonight, basically it's my girlfriend's birthday next week, and what we do is around about a week before each other's birthday, we give each other a pre-birthday present. Just, it's a little joke, a little something that we do. So I'm taking her to see Derren Brown tonight. Now, after this loss, if I had started jumping in and out of trades, or if I had then taken an imperfect trade, what would have happened is that when we went to Derren Brown, I would be sitting there the whole time thinking about what I had done during the day. I'd be thinking about the mistakes that I had made, and I'd be punishing myself mentally for the money that I lost, because of my own decisions. But now, because I have followed my rules, I know that there's nothing that I would have done differently. Even if I hadn't won this trade, I would, and I will now still be able to enjoy my night. Basically, I'll be sitting, instead of thinking about the bad decisions that I made when trading, I'll now be sitting thinking about, I really hope this guy doesn't try and call me up onto stage and hypnotize me in front of all these people. By following your trading plan, by remaining disciplined, it allows you to basically get on with your life, to live your life as normal. And now, whilst I'm doing this, I'm just going to close this out. We have found a little bit of support at the 7378 level. I'm happy just to take this trade and exit. So, went from the loss today. We should be back at a small profit. A small profit for the day. Nothing spectacular. So I had profit yesterday, another profit today. I'm basically grinding myself back up. Actually, the first thing I should go over is that, I always need to, things pop into my head sometimes when I'm making these videos, and I need to add to the videos. And the reason is because being on YouTube, unfortunately, you attract a lot of trolls. And what can happen is something like, I'll get a comment on a video saying, on January the 12th, 3 minutes and 12 seconds into your video, you said you didn't like Darren Brown. Yet today, you said you're going to see Darren Brown. Therefore, you are a fraud. And then they unleash all this negativity into the comment. And, that's the sad fact of life. But sometimes I think of things as I'm talking, and I just need to go over something to clarify it, because it's maybe a little bit different to what I normally do, etc. Really, these people, they need to get out of their mum's spare room, out of their mum's basement, and maybe go and get a girlfriend and get a bit of a life, because they are ridiculous people. But anyway, how I normally trade: if I take a loss on the next trade, I usually, instead of risking 1%, I'll risk 2%, because I know that on a very high portion of the time, that second trade will be a winner, and it will wipe out the loss and put me back at my 1% profit for the day. However, as I mentioned today, I was using reduced stakes because I had a down week last week. I had a couple losses going into the end of the week, so I did not increase the risk on the second trade today. So I should only really be round about back at break even or with a small profit. It's in here somewhere. So again today, so £145.20. So not, nothing to write home about, not a large profit in the slightest, but what it is it's following my trading plan, and it's not ending the day down. It's not ending the day down because I followed my plan. And it's also not ending the day down because I took idiotic trades because I was annoyed that this one stopped me out, and then the market did exactly what I wanted it to do. It would have been quite easy to get frustrated, start jumping into short positions that didn't work, then start trying to catch the run up and panicking and getting stopped out. It's really, really easy to do that. But if you want to be a professional trader, you need to learn to almost find an equilibrium with your trading. You need to be able to, after a losing trade, just continue on as normal. Even if you feel a little bit down, you need to be able to just ignore it and continue with what it is that you are doing. So there we go. Really, really small profit today. But the main thing is it's instead of a loss. Okay? And hopefully, as always, hopefully that was helpful. I hope you've all had a good trading week. Also, hopefully I will be back for the Sunday analysis videos. It really depends if, Darren Brown's still got me up on stage running around clucking like a chicken. We'll see how that one goes. Anyway, as always, I hope that was helpful, guys. I'm James Orr, and thank you.